WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. I don't think this is rare, but no one else has done a video about this yet. This is the Peaky Blinder Bourbon Whiskey. Now, some of you may have noticed or seen the video about the Peaky Blinder Irish whiskey. You notice a different hat, a different guy, and very, very interesting. Now, these are both from the same company. They're from the Sadlers, established 1861. They're in the England's famous Black County, and the Sadler family have been proprietors of the finest beers and spirits since, as I said, 1861. So somehow they gained the marketing rights here for this interesting TV show, Peaky Blinder, which I'm not going to talk about because I'm a whiskey reviewer, not a TV show reviewer. The Irish whiskey is very unique. It has it's triple distilled, yay. And it's actually aged in sherry casks. And there's days where I can drink half the bottle and go, yummy, yummy, yummy. And then a week later, a day later, a month later, I come back and try a little bit and go, yeah, I'm not really sure if I like this or not. And I've talked to a couple other whiskey fans, and they are almost the same opinion as me. This changes, or we change, or the temperature changes the feel, the taste, the experience. So. Now, this whiskey over here, and that's about this review, is here Peaky Blinders Bourbon Whiskey. Not Kentucky, not straight. 40% ABV, alcohol by volume, and it's matured in American oak. Yay, has to be. It is a bourbon after all, and it's distilled in the USA. So there's a thing over here in Europe called the Whiskey Base, and we use it a lot. It's a database for all the different whiskeys that have been produced in the last, 50 or so years. And this is the Whiskey Base number 132683. Now, over here in Germany, I paid 24 euros for this. I've seen it also a lot in the UK, where this bottle actually came from. I bought it in an auction for like 28 euros, which is still a very, very nice price. And this is actually made in Indiana, which means for us whiskey geeks, it's MGP. MGP is a independent distiller of very fine spirits, which many, many companies have used over the time. Bullet uses their rye, and many other the independent companies that have just started up have been doing that as well. Now, there is also rum, which I don't own, I'm sorry. And I think there's a trio in this collection, and it's very, very nice. I like the bottle form. I like the wax on top. There's a nice little strip you had to pull off, so it was a great experience of doing that. The only problem I have with this whiskey at the moment is no age. If it was a straight bourbon, I would have known it's 4 years. It was a straight bourbon with an age statement on it between 2 and 4 years. I would have also known how old it is. At the moment, it just says bourbon whiskey. And according to the rules of bourbon whiskey, it has to come in the barrel at least 40%, not more than 62.5%. And it has to be doesn't have to be a barrel, it has to be a charred vessel, a container. American white oak. And the problem is, it can be in there literally for just minutes and still be a bourbon. Now, no one does that because you have to throw away or have to sell the cask to someone else because the next bourbon you make has to be in a new cask anyways. And so this might have been in a cask for less than 2 years. We don't know. All right, on the nose. I'm getting something, I'm going to be positive here. I'm getting some vegetal clove moments. Almost a little grassiness is in there. Imagine you cut your lawn, you take the clippings, put them on the compost pile, and you wait a couple days, you come back, and that little moment there of those grass clippings. Now, I was from Virginia, so we had a lot of heat also back there in my youth. And so a couple days, maybe 2 or 3 days in the compost pile can do a lot. So some clippings. Not that much, but it's very, very interesting. What I'm going to compare it to is something you may have seen before, Old Grandad. This was actually the very, very, very first bottle I've ever in my life tasted on a YouTube channel. If you look at my German channel, it's all orange because of the Old Grandad. This is the bottle that gave my channel the colors I have today. I tried to replicate that as much as possible. And I went for the contrary color for my English channel, which is just purple. So that's the reason why. So over here, this is a bottom shelf whiskey. This runs about €5 cheaper than this over here. We have very high taxes, at least in Europe. Germany has very low taxes compared to other countries, like, for example, Ireland and so on, as I've explained in my videos many, many times before. But that's a little bit higher than the States in many places here, with our VAT of at least 19% here for that, plus plus our excise tax for the alcohol, and so on, so on, and so on. Adds up after a while. Now, to be very, very honest, the Old Grandad has more of a typical, I'm going to go for a Jim Beam moment. It's more of a Kentucky, well, no wonder it's Jim Beam. It's distilled in Claremont, Kentucky, and part of the Beam Suntory group. It has a little bit of that nutty moment, a little bit of that wood comes through, a little bit of that brown sugar. It's a very, very good beginner bourbon. Not too complex, not too expensive. Got a great story. I like that. I like the high rye mash bill. Don't say rye and mash together, it doesn't work out. And so very, very nice. Screw top, of course, that has a little bit of the feeling of bar joop doop doop. Here we at least have the feeling of a great cork pop. Artificial cork, still not the problem here. Let's try it. 40%. Cheers. On the back of the bottle it says here, over a century's worth of knowledge and passion has led the family to source this bold whiskey, or this bold bourbon. Bourbon whiskey, exceptionally smooth, which is fairly is. It's silky, it's smooth, it's got a nice mouthfeel, with notes of pecans. I'm not getting the pecan yet, but that's all right. Toffee, and spice. Now, I always it's like Old Spice. What type of spices are I getting? It can be anything. It's a fairly okay whiskey. It has a little bit of nice consistency. The viscosity of this is more than that, actually. This is a little bit thinner. Both are 40%, but yet the mouthfeel is totally a little bit different here. It is halfway smooth, but in the middle there's a little bit of a clove, actually. And then it kicks into a little bit of a tartiness of that wood that goes in there. Is it a great whiskey? No. I rank my whiskeys A, why haven't you bought it? B, buy it. C, if you want to buy it. D, don't have to. F, oh, why was this even made? Now, this is more in the C category. You can buy it if you want to. I'm going to actually put it more towards the C to C minus, which means you don't need to buy it. Now, if you're a fan of Peaky Blinder, buy all three. Buy the rum, buy the Irish, buy the bourbon. Put it up on a shelf and look at it and go, wow, I'm part of the club. Yay. If you're looking for a good whiskey, go more towards maybe a Evan Williams single barrel. Go maybe for a Jim Beam Black extra aged. All these whiskeys are below $20. And that is also my question of the day. If you could find a bourbon out there under $20, what is your favorite whiskey? Now, I'm not a student anymore. I teach students, but this would be my go-to whiskey under 20. Wild Turkey 101 is tough to beat. This is some good juice, and it's got a great price, and we don't have handles over here in Europe, at least not in Germany. But this is the 1 liter bottle. I paid barely 20-some euros for this. For the 0.7, I get much cheaper than 20. Absolutely, fantastic whiskey for that amount of money that you're getting. Old Grandad. The alcohol kicks in a lot more. You have a little bit more wood, a little bit more of the brown sugar as well. Not a bad whiskey. Is this a little bit better? Yes and no. The finish is better as well as the beginning, but in that middle it's got that little bit of a twang in there. And I must admit, this is more of a typical bourbon that I'm used to, and therefore I'm going to go for this instead. This would actually be more of a C, and this is more of a C minus, just because of that middle part there. All right, thank you very much for watching. I've reviewed whiskeys in English on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. This is video number 300 and I don't know what. So I've been doing this now for a little while. Yeah, usually exotic whiskeys, which means no one else has done them, and that's why I did this video. And I thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe. Please tell others. Please hit the bell if you'd like. I do live streams every once in a while, cooperate with other YouTubers also in the English-speaking language. But of course, unfortunately for you, my main focus is on the German whiskey world. If you like German, up at the top you can see my whiskey channel in German. You can go there. Otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter, on YouTube, and also on the Facebook. All right, as my mom says, the Facebook. All the best. See you soon. WhiskyJason here. Bye-bye.